All right, everybody, it's time for a brain scrubbing gameplay edition. Cities Skylines, CS2 for short. Will it be a CS gas? Okay, so the big bugaboo on this is the very poor out-of-the-box optimization and performance across a breadth of machines, but even high-end PCs, high-end gaming PCs. Uh, the game's getting trashed. I gotta say, I don't want to say rightfully so, but I could definitely be empathetic to some people's positions here. I did stream it last night. The stream was about 2 hours. I thought it went okay. A lot of me reading the tooltips and the tutorials monotone, so I don't know how enjoyable that was for a lot of people. Um, but it's kind of figuring this out as I go along. So um, basically, the purpose of this video is just going to be kind of to recap what I did after the stream because as soon as the stream was over, which I thought the performance was okay during the stream itself, once it stopped and I continued playing, I ran into some major stutter issues, and then I had to stop and do some googling to figure out how to optimize it and get some better settings out of it. So the big takeaway from that was turn VSync off, which according to Paradox you should, or Colossal Order, let's be crystal there. Um, but from Paradox's forum, you shouldn't have to turn VSync off, but we'll try that out. So I'm going to fire it up with their recommended settings. Now I'll say I had it set up to, I will call medium high settings, not everything cranked to 11, and I was getting between 25 to 40 frames on a small city of less than 4,000 people. So we'll see what their recommended settings do on the same city. And once we get all the performance stuff out of the way, I'm just going to do a quick tour on what I actually did after the stream was over, because I did wind up basically playing this all night, and roughly 10 hours. So, because I don't have a day job right now. So you can kind of do that kind of thing when you don't have a day job. Um, all right, so one thing, I don't know why the continue game is grayed out periodically. Load it up. Okay, so I did name the city Sharpsburg. That was one that was automatically generated by the game. When I started it up, I was just kind of futzing around just to see what kind of shit it came up with the automatically generated ones, and I just thought it was hilarious that this Finnish game developer included an obscure-ass Western Maryland town that's also a Civil War battlefield. So some of these neighborhoods and streets and other locations are named after parts of that battlefield, but this is in no way, shape, or form supposed to be any kind of accurate representation of Antietam. So if that's what you're looking for, yeah, just keep it moving. All right, let's see. So right now, frame-wise, 44, 40 frames. Zooming in and out. Zoom in, zoom out, zoom in, zoom out. All right, so I mean, it is more FPS, but it just kind of, to be honest, it looks, I mean, it's been a while since I played vanilla CS1, and it doesn't look much better, if not worse, than that did. Um, it's kind of grainy. I think it's because of the anti-aliasing settings they recommend. So, yeah, just to go over that, let's go into the settings themselves, and more or less this is what they recommend off their latest blog post. So run it in 1080p full screen window. Now VSync is enabled, as they said it should work, but everything else I read online seemed to indicate that it runs better with that turned off. So a lot of stuff's turned off. Items are high, or some of these items are high, but Actually, wait a minute. These were set to medium before I closed and reopened the game, so it reverted these settings to the higher settings I was using. And yet somewhat. Maybe that's just a bug, I don't know. Okay. Alright, so I had set most of this to medium before I relaunched the game. So I'm going to do that again. Okay. So let's go back. So this doesn't look too terrible. I mean, I don't know if it's coming through or if it'll come through clearly on the video, but it does look a little less grainy. And I'm getting around 45 to 50 frames a second. Let's so they recommended the low anti-aliasing. So their response also indicates that as a city simulator, it's built to really run at 30 frames a second. That the frame rate isn't as important as the simulation itself, which is understandable. But I mean, if that's the case, then they shouldn't be recommending a 3080 RTX graphics card like they are. Just, by comparison, like the recommended specs on Cyberpunk are a 2060 RTX for the recommended. Now, granted, that game is a little older, and you're not going to get the coolest bells and whistles out of it. I've run it on an RTX and on my current 3070 RTX, and it's definite obvious improvement with the 8 gig card. But I mean that's such a higher visual fidelity game. I mean, I know they're doing damage control, but I'll say this. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna put the settings back to what I had them at because I'm okay with the 30 plus frame rate if it's gonna look a little nicer. So I'm gonna exit out of the game. Gonna reopen it. And I'm gonna change the settings back to what I had them set to. And then we'll actually get through the walkthrough of the city itself, just to kind of give you a quick tour of what I did last night and some of my other thoughts on the game, other than performance and optimization issues, because I do have some thoughts. I mean, the obvious answer is yeah, they put a they should have let it cook a little more, as they say nowadays. Needed more time in the oven, etc. Pick a cliche. It's unfinished. It's got problems. It's fun. I mean, if you like CS1, um, and if you can run this with a decent frame rate, you'll like this too. But I do have some reservations, more from a long-term strategy-wise. This is going to be more about paradox than colossal order. and just their business strategies in general, which are well documented and well maligned, rightfully so. But I really hope they don't go this route. But anyway, I digress. Let me go back. I'm going to set this back to 250, 2560 by 1440. Full screen windowed. Set to free. Okay, depth of field disabled. Solution scales disabled. Put this back to high. I'm going to set clouds to medium. Fog's disabled. Volumetrics disabled. Reflections, just set that to medium. Depth of field, set that to low. Motion blur disabled. Set texture to high. Animation to high. Detail to high. Water, I don't give a fuck. Just set that to low. Terrain to high. Shadows to high. Alright, so let's see. So with these settings in the menu, I'm getting 115. Let's see how that goes in game. Now, while we're here, things I do like. Map options. You can unlock everything from the start and do unlimited money as an option from the start. Now, I don't know if that affects achievements or not. I mean, if you're an achievement hunter, then that might play into that decision. I'm kind of 50-50 on that. My stance is if it looks like it's going to be fun getting the achievement, then I'll do it. But I don't need to 100% everything I play. But I do like that those options are there, and you could turn these on or off at any time in game. So that's pretty neat. That's a good quality of life decision. I chose to play the more traditional route where you have to go through the progression and get the XP to unlock things through the tech tree, just because I liked the prospect of potential failure. Like, you could totally spin yourself into a collapse. I've done it tons of times on the first game. Disasters, the only disasters I've seen are traffic wrecks and fires so far. I'm hoping there's more to it. If that's all that's included and they're gonna DLC us later on, like, I digress. I'm gonna load the game. Okay. Alright, already it's... So here we go. Alright, so now, yeah, we're sitting around 30 frames. But it does... I mean, it does seem to... Just the level of detail, it looks a little crisper. Yeah, so it gets, you know, dipping to 20 to 30-ish. Let's see if we could... Alright. Clouds, go to low. Depth of field, disable that. Go shadow quality medium. And we'll go with that for the rest of the video, just so I don't get bogged down in just changing settings here. Let's get back to the true purpose of this, which is just to kind of go over what I did. So pretty much we have a few neighborhoods set up here. Like I said, named after different parts of the Antietam battlefield. For example, here we've got Bloody Lane High School, Dunker, after the Dunker Church, the elementary schools, Dunker Elementary School. Set up a couple bus lines based on those schools, and they're named after the bus lines as well, or named after the schools. So what is this? Crime scene, huh? That's new. I haven't seen that yet. So, will police actually show up and do anything? Says they're securing the crime scene, but I don't see them yet. Oh, there he is. Oh, look, he stopped. He stopped at the light. Isn't that nice of him? No, where are you going? Okay, they must have done something. Oh, I guess. All right, the building's adjacent to this street. That's why he was doing his job. I apologize, officer. I'm sure the body cam footage will clear it all up. All right, so we got Cashtown. Um, let's see, there's like a region mode or regional view? Doesn't look like there is. So that's an omission from the first game. It looks like there was a view where you could actually see. Okay, I guess if you mouse over them, or no, that's just the name of that. That's just that one street. So you can see the neighborhood names, but not the outlines. That's disappointing. Although I guess if you go into the tool, could you see him then? Okay, you could see him if you turn the tool on, but it's kind of hard to see. I mean, that's the outline here. Now, one thing I do like is it's very easy to reshape these. In the old game, it was kind of a painter. You know, all the regions were painted using a brush, and you had to go in and tweak it and change the brush size to get it where you wanted it. And it was fairly good about snapping to streets if you were following them. But with this new one, you can just kind of drag these waypoints. And as far as I know, you can have as many of these waypoints as you need. So that's very, very intuitive. I like that. And so the same goes for the farming districts. This is sort of like from the Industries DLC on CS1 where you could paint out farm districts. They kind of met in the middle where you don't choose zoning types for your industry. So I can't choose like a forest industry zone like you could in the first game, but you build like a core building and then kind of show you real quick. So you just go down to these industries here. Let's pick one. All right, textile fiber farming. I'm gonna plop that here. Overlapping item, okay. And then you can just set the boundaries. So that's your basic boundary of that textile farm. But then if you go into the editing tool, you can tweak it, fill in spots, and you have a radius the building has a radius that it can reach out to. I'm sitting here pointing at my screen. That yellow line, that's the radius that you could expand this zone out to. So you get the idea. So that's cool. I like that. That's a good kind of compromise between the Industries DLC and the industrial zone specializations from the base game. Now, a couple things that are missing, unless I haven't unlocked them yet, but there's a lot fewer transit options. Let's go to the tech tree to see what you can do. I mean, you could see there's trams. Now, I don't know. There's just double tram tracks. Obviously, I haven't unlocked this stuff yet, but no monorails that I can see. The cable cars, that kind of stuff, that's missing. And I'm kind of on the fence with this. My opinion is if it was in a DLC of the first game, especially if it was in After Dark, Mass Transit and Industries, it should be in this game. And so if their plan is to basically just repackage those same features with DLC for this game down the road, and their DLCs typically cost $20 at the start, that's some freaking Paradox bullshit right there. And they're at risk of alienating their long diehard customers like myself. Like I didn't buy Victoria 3 because of all the bad reviews it got because it's not a complete game. There's a lot of people out there who are saying this is not a complete game, And I mean, I did the pre-order, I got the deluxe edition, so I paid something around 80, 90 bucks for this. And it's too late to send back because I streamed it and I already played it for 12 hours. So I'm locked in. Now, it's not all shit. That's not what I'm trying to say here. It is, I mean, I'm just, as soon as I'm done recording this video, I'm probably going to settle back down to it for another 5 or 6 hours and expand this out and see what else we can do with it. Because there are, like, the roundabout tool is great. I love what they did with roundabouts. So just a quick demo. Putting a roundabout in the old game could kind of be a pain in the ass here. You had to really plan around it, and you only had 2 roundabouts to pick from with the default game, vanilla. Here, I mean, it's the same style, but there's 4 different sizes, and you just put it in and plop it in just like that. It's fantastic. And the road mapping tools in general are a lot more intuitive. Some of the terrain modding is not that great. Like, if you're wondering why this section here, this is supposed to be symmetrical. This was supposed to be a complete 90-degree arc, like this side with another traffic circle on the end, and the bridge was going to come over here to be kind of like a bullseye looking style. And eventually City Hall and everything else is going to be in this bigger, or this is going to be my main administrative business district, I'm thinking long term. But for whatever reason, even though clearly this is land, I could try to build some road on it. I could build road like that, but if I try to build a bridge, or I'll show you what I was talking about. So just delete this for now, which I didn't want to do all that. Oops. It's out to 140. The other thing is there's no way to hide these angle tooltips, which they're very useful, more or less, but sometimes when you're trying to do something that's only within a few squares, they can get very obtrusive and very frustrating. Alright. If this friggin' works, I'm gonna be very happy because I couldn't get it to work. Positive minds for negative times. Turn curve on. Delete this shit just in case. Got a hungry cat. Okay. Of course, it's working now. Unbelievable. Before, and I tried this for like 45 minutes last night, it kept saying this whole section was underwater and that I couldn't build there. I mean, all like this little jut, this little outcropping here, I put that in manually to try to get it to work, and it still wouldn't work. Of course, now that I'm trying to bust their balls, it is working the way I want it to. So maybe it patched. I didn't see an update come through, but I would not be surprised. And see if I can build my bridge here. That was problematic last night as well, but if that works, then I'm going to go away happy. Outstanding. I mean, it's not exactly how I want it. Oh, it's one-way road. Whoops. Let's see if we can try doing that again. Alright, I'm getting into the construction. I'm starting to play the game. That was not the intent to actually do another playthrough session. I'm gonna stream more and then do kind of a summary of what's changed. I mean, basically, I just put in some residential neighborhoods, um, and just spent more time figuring out the base mechanics and unlocking some of the stuff. And yeah, I'll put a notification out if I'm gonna go live again. Um, I don't know about tonight, but if not, yeah, until next time, have a good one.